This is called an American coup. Border Tom took 50 in cash. It's for Honduran orphans, not my personal stash. But proceedings were iced. There was no case or plea. If Tom says it's bullshit, that's good enough for me. But you'd better act fast, Tom. Get your pardon in quick. Does anyone doubt Trump's mind is quite sick? Dementia wreaks havoc in a brain on the wane. How much more if that person is really insane? As a blubjan and ammonia, is that what came out? The world's press was aghast. What's he now on about? What you told the UN did come as a shock. You reduced the US to the world's laughingstock. Your countries, he said, are all going to hell. If only such nonsense was Donald's death knell. How long will it take to live down this shit? A forlorn USA, at the helm a half-wit. What a tantrum he'll throw when there's no Nobel crown. How could it go to Trump, an American clown? You empower Netanyahu and appease Vlad the Bad, while Ukraine bleeds to death. Oh dear, how sad. A narcissist whose malignancy keeps getting worse. Your executive orders are absurd and perverse. The stench of corruption pervades all you do. It sticks to your soul and will always seep through. You bleed only sleaze from every orifice and pore. But still the Trumpinos keep grifting for more. A corrupt DOJ weaponized as Trump's tool. And now Halligan's on board, yet another footstool. I signed both those documents, but I can't be sure why. When I finish the textbook, I'm sure we'll comply. While you wait, here's a slice of my mum's apple pie. Trump wants Comey jailed, that's his basic demand. And with Roberts heading SCOTUS, he gets a free hand. History's verdict on Roberts will not be that kind, and neither Thomas nor Alito have yet resigned. The stink of venality, does it not make you choke? A Supreme Court on speed dial wasn't meant as a joke. America's tyrant disavowing all blame. What mattered to Trump was always just fame. America's first citizen, but for you it's a game. History's verdict is in, its everlasting shame. You were friends with a pedophile, and that won't go away. So you turn to Ghislaine, who was told what to say. MAGA diehards can see that you don't give a shit. When Ghislaine gets a pardon, who's the true hypocrite? Your birthday card greeting, does it still raise a smile? What else did you do for that sick pedophile? That's mud that sticks, Don, to your image and soul. Epstein may be dead. Is he your grassy knoll? In one hand you hold America's generous heart. With the other you daily tear what's left apart. You proselytize and preach the politics of hate, while a dumbstruck free world sees America mutate. Charlie Kirk's death in your crass embrace became how best to use it to fire up our base. So his poor wife is told word for word what to say. It might deflect them from Epstein, even just for a day. If some lefties get shot in a tit-for-tat slaying, any Epstein distraction is a price that's worth paying. We all know what's coming, the inescapable fact. Trump's order imposing his enabling act. It was there on display at the Quantico base. The Hegseth-Trump Prattfest was a total disgrace. They were summoned like schoolboys for a Hegseth brickbat. You may be commanders, but I think you're too fat. What is wrong with that guy? Is he taking speed? Fight the enemy within is the regime's new creed. Was he flaunting his power? Who dares oppose me? All they saw was a drunkard who's out of his tree. Trump then took the stage, but there was no applause. Would you clap for a man who shits on your laws? No one stood to attention to Lord this C&C, a man who flouts laws and rules by decree. Democracy's antichrist in the land of the free. Called from commands round the world just to hear from a liar and felon, your president racketeer. They must loathe every fibre of the man standing there, who tears America to pieces in a daily nightmare. Quiet opprobrium mixed with total disdain, as respect for America is pissed down the drain. Respect must be earned, that at least Trump should know. When battle's cry beckoned, he fled Uncle Joe. A doctor it's likely that you never met said bone spurs exempt you from your personal tat. And if Trump had met Hitler, what would he have said? Your slaughter and genocide has left millions dead? Or tariffs, mein Führer, are the best way ahead? Shooting Putin sends drones that flout NATO's borders, knowing Trump will do nothing, too afraid to give orders. In the bowels of the Pentagon, what on earth must they think, knowing their C&C will undoubtedly shrink from actions or battles that defend freedom's cause, unless and until he can insert a clause. For every buck spent or blood-soaked piece of land, make sure I get 50, cash in the hand. The Pentagon sees him appease the tyrants he meets, while American troops patrol American streets. Trump will doubtless stamp medals, but what should they say? For God, corps and country on the streets of LA? Was it dangerous out there for a warrior elite? Well, I helped an old lady who was crossing the street. Even Vance must now see he won't have long to wait before dementia and madness seal Trump's fate. America's Hitler, is that now coming true? Will he row back Trump's crimes or follow them through? More than 3 years are left of Trump's madness and pain, while respect for America disappears down the drain. How much more is your country expected to take? A corrupt DOJ with Trump on the make. An incredulous military must be very hard-pressed, taking orders from Trump, a man they detest. Did the generals watch quietly, then debate what to do? How many now envisage an American coup? For crimes against freedom and the whole USA, Trump's cancerous reign would end in a day. Could Obama be called just to steady the ship, far removed from the cowardly GOP's grip? 6 months of unity, then elections are held, while every vestige of Trump is completely dispelled. Will garlands of flowers greet the troops taking part? Remove Trump, Vance and Roberts is where they should start. Bondi Johnson and Miller will be taken to task, but for Miller something special, his own iron mask. Can dignified discourse recover from this? Will Republicans transcend this intellectual abyss? Just as daft Boris Johnson misled the UK, so Trump scams the voters of the whole USA. Just as Longshanks in Braveheart dubbed the people mere sheep, sowing discord and lies, what does Trump think he'll reap? At the end of the day, there's a choice you must make. Is it Trump or your freedom? Which path will you take? Trump's a liar and felon, whose morals are fake. There'll be no such compunction from the military side. Trump was mad from the start and should have been certified. The enemy within is your target, Trump said. Those who protest against me will be met with bloodshed. Sedition is what must be curbed and suppressed. Alternative viewpoints cannot be expressed. How long before thousands will face house arrest? Trump's misjudged his military if he thinks that's their aim, when his moral turpitude wreathes America in shame. What Trump's failed to realize by his autocrat's rule, it's the US people's military, not your personal tool. No, the military's message won't be hard to discern. You screwed with our freedoms, and for that you will burn.